Hey, well done. Jeg heter Zack the Demon Lord. Hey world, it is Isaac the Demon Lord, and yet again another YouTube video. We shall continue on in one day with this paganism series and then bring it to a wrap. There'll be a total of 3 more videos, this one included, and so we will get into that. But before we do so, I introduced it, I think on the first video. No, I did it with the Celtic one. That's what I did with. But, as I had said at that time, I had ordered a legendary item. Let's just say we ordered another one, and so I want to show it off. So, let's bring you down a notch. Here we are. This is the Ramsey Blue utility kilt off of the same site. I got the first one. I don't know if I talked about them. I mean, don't got a sponsor or anything, but I'll shout them out. There's a group of kilt makers, or a kilt maker guy at least, headquartered in Utah, and they have a brand that they appropriately call UT Kilts. Anyways, if you're interested, you can check them out. I'm not sponsored or anything, but saying as I really enjoyed the kilts I've gotten. I went up a size with this one. You know, besides wanting a different color, I went up a size, and this one fits. I mean, they both fit nonetheless, but this is a bigger size, so not that I plan on getting bigger than I am, but it does reach farther down, so a little bit more comfort that wise, knowing that there's more cloth to help protect. I mean, the showage of when I sit down, what's underneath. But yeah, it's nice. But regardless, we'll get back into the content of this video. Well, there you have it. That was the kilt. Again, I really enjoy it. I've had 2 experiences so far with my other one wearing it out in public. No problems thus far. The only reason I bring that up is I do know that in general a lot of people are judgmental, and a lot of people, you know, look at the kilt and all, they think something like, "Ah, man skirt." I mean, are you wrong? I guess not, but I don't know. It's just the way that it says, it usually gets said, comes out snarky and stuff like that, and sounds like an insult, and obviously that's not fun to deal with, getting insulted. Anyways though, safe so far. If anything, my first experience was worse than the second. I mean, aside from it being the first, the place we had gone, there's a bunch of teenagers in there, and I could kind of feel low-key feel them just staring at me like, what the heck is this guy? But anyways, the harshness of teenagers aside, we'll get into the contents of this video. So, we're beginning the part of talking about sort of the magical sects of paganism, and we will be starting out with Wicca. So I'm gonna pull it up just to make sure. I did do more research this time, watched some videos, and read some articles to help me grasp the idea before I come out. I knew I'd have to do it with these 3. The third one's not as bad. It's pretty straightforward and should be a very short video. But I knew, especially with this one and the next one I'll be making after this, I'm less familiar with the magic sides of paganism. As I said, I am more of a polytheist than a magic practicer. I mean, of course, you could look at some things like putting offerings on altars and stuff like that as magic, quote for quote, but for me, it's not too different from that sort of concept. For me, is more akin to like what with the Christian, they would have different, ceremonies and rituals that they would do, like blessing the sacrament or something. So it feels, the idea of putting an offering on an altar doesn't feel too strange to me from like that. So it feels more like just a religious thing you do to venerate or call to the gods, rather than haha magic. Anyways, though, so with Wicca, let's go into essentially the background of that first. So when I've been researching Wicca, what I found, and if you are a Wiccan, please, you can say what you believe. But my understanding is that Wicca is a sort of newer religion. I forgot the exact dates, but basically it started forming, I think we're saying, in the mid-1900s. That's what I'm seeing on this page. It was a mid-1900s thing. Essentially, there was, I think, if I remember right, an Englishman who was looking into basically the and studying ancient, pre-Christian religions, which obviously a lot of what that would then get him into is just different various pagan practices. Whether it was, the Egyptians and their gods, or the Romans and their gods, the Greeks and theirs, the Germanic gods and that culture, and all these other things as well. He would have probably, I would imagine, studied even farther away religions like the Asian religions, whether it was Shintoism or Buddhism or Hinduism. He must have, done his studies or whatever. The point being, though, obviously had more heavily focused on pre-Christian religion in a term of before Christ was in Europe, sort of thing. And when I say that, I'm not saying Christ himself as a being in Europe, but rather just, his teachings existing in Europe. Anyways, with this, though, he took eventually various practices and rituals and stuff like this, and formed one sort of religion which turned into Wicca. So you can say that Wicca, in a sense, is an agglomeration of anyways, I'm going to use the word agglomeration. I don't know if that's the correct word, but mixing, it's an agglomeration of all these various pagan sort of magics, because that's what he heavily focused on. It was the idea of magic, and turn that into one singular thing. And so with that, though, there's also other things that kind of came into play to make Wicca a very unique religion. I should have looked this up before, but let me look this up right now. You call we'll use that term. Sorry, I had to find a word. Specifically, because I find this unique. From my background in paganism, I am a Norse heathen. And with that, I'm a polytheist, which means I believe in multiple gods. There are many, many, many gods out there. The unique thing that ended up happening though with Wicca is that Wicca is what you might call according to Google, a duotheistic or a bitheistic religion. So they have this dual god aspect. Essentially, they believe in the idea of two gods, and one is masculine and the other is feminine, because they believe in this sort of split idea that there are masculine energies in this world and that there are feminine energies in this world. So they have this sort of split view, which I find kind of peculiar and interesting. Just with modern politics and stuff, I don't see how that would mix very well. However, if they believe that, they believe that. I just find it interesting, anyways. Moving on. So yeah, they have this idea that there's a masculine god and this feminine god, and together, I guess it kind of work like a yin-yang sort of thing. I mean, Christians make this sort of comparison of man and woman, anyways. But the idea that the man and the woman, they just kind of balance each other out, and so that's probably part of why they have this dual view, where there's a female and a male god. So that takes us to the next part. What exactly would a Wiccan do with that? So essentially, with that, from at least my studies and what I've seen and heard, Wiccans then, because of the magic practices, they'll have a various. This is where it gets a little confusing, and why the third video will be especially helpful, because I think this ties things even better together. But essentially, from what I understand, they might do stuff like some of them will focus their idea of magic work on incense. They will light up incense in the house to make a place have a certain feeling or vibe, or to invoke certain types of energies. A lot of them, from what I can tell, get into this idea of energies, that there are different types of energy flowing without the world, and you can invoke certain energies with certain techniques or certain scents or something, and so they like that sort of thing, from what I can tell, which kind of blends in a little bit. Maybe some of them could be the essential oil type people that are very keen on, I have to take this oil, natural remedy for this problem, and this one for that. But then kind of just moves on to the idea that we have with witches and stuff like that in general. The whole cauldron idea of this witch, collecting these very specific ingredients and then doing certain, rituals or practices on them to make certain things happen. Whether that's invoking good energies or bad energies, or cursing or blessing someone or something. There might be like some of that. However, one thing I do have to mention with that, and maybe not all of them are this way, but from what I understand, because I guess they do have some sort of scripture book. I don't remember what it's called, but essentially they do have sort of rules, so to say, like Christians would, of how to live their life. And basically they just believe in the idea of being good, invoking good energies, trying to be a helping hand in the world, things like this. That is what I have largely seen, spoken about in video and such. Let's see if I can find anything else. I'm not. I guess this is a thing. I've got to a point where there's the idea of the 5 elements. If you watch Avatar or anything, this will make sense. Air, earth, fire, water, and the last one would be spirit, because it does kind of have that Christian vibe of their spirits and things. It looks like they do altars. It says here something about rituals. Anyways, I don't want to drag this video out too much and focus purely on this Wikipedia, because that's not very fun to watch me scroll on that, nor is it fun to try to scroll and be in a rush. But yeah, just elemental energies. They do a lot of studies on that. As I said, the incense and stuff like that. Some of them might have altars or something. Some of them might have specific rituals. What those rituals entail are not known to me. It looks like they could get into other things like symbology, maybe. Certain symbols have meaning, like the sun, the moon, the stars, things like that. I would imagine, I don't know, I can't think of the exact term, but astrology in the sense of like constellations and fortune telling sort of things, maybe they get into. Anyways, if there's a magic practice out there, they probably get into it, but it maybe just depends on the individual, on what they're trying to do. Because I do also remember a long time ago, I had seen a video talking about these, people that were of this sort of thing, and like, there's a various type of witches and wizards and warlocks, and they have these ideas of different roots and practices. So obviously I don't know any Wiccans, so I can't just be like, yeah, this is what they believe. But from the studies I've been able to do and pick up, this is what I understand of the religion. Aside from that, don't really have anything else to add. So yeah, that's it for this one, and we'll see you in the next one. Please like, subscribe, share, all that jazz. And yeah, as I said, we'll see you in the next one. Until then, hey-do.